July 6, 2017 meeting of the school committee to order. This meeting is being both audio and videotaped by LCAT. Is anyone doing either of the same? Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call starting to my left.
Mary Thompson.
Deirdre Mayu.
Bill Fonseca. Reg.
Rich Machero. Gordon Smith, Superintendent of Schools.
Elizabeth Marcy Boucher. Valerie Lanier, the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction.
Pamela Blair, Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Kathy Salotti, Recording Secretary.
Okay, our first order of business is to reorganize the school committee because this is our first meeting after July 1st. So we will open motions and nominations for chairperson.
I move to nominate Deirdre Mayu for chair.
I'll second that.
Okay, and I'll accept the nomination and thank you very much for it. I appreciate it.
All right, any discussion?
She's a big year, she's got to graduate in senior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your speech going.
Yeah.
I know.
Start now.
Any
Yeah.
other nominations? Okay, then we have to go roll call vote. Start with Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Do you need to say each name?
Yep. Ms. Mayu?
Yes.
Mr. Fonseca?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Ms. Margie Belcher?
Yes.
Okay, so that passes 5-0. Congratulations, Mrs. Mayu. You are now the chairperson for the 2017-2018 school year.
Excellent, thank you. And what a way to start it off with the terrific audience today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. All right, so to continue along the lines of the reorganization of the school committee, I would ask for a nomination for vice chair.
I nominate Greg Thompson for vice chair. Yes.
Okay, so I have a first, I have a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, let me just get these in. All right, and Gregory Thompson, what do you think about
I'll
accepting the
accept,
nomination?
sure. Thank you.
Excellent, so we'll need a roll call vote on that. So Gregory Thompson?
Yes.
Deirdre Mayu, yes?
Yes.
Rich Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Okay, and Beth?
Yes.
Okay, so that passes 5-0. So you are now our vice chair for the year, so thank you very much for taking that on. We still have one more position.
I thought you were
That's what you get for being reelected, you get to be vice chair now. So we also need to do school committee secretary, so I'll take a nomination for school committee secretary.
I'll nominate Gordon Smith as school committee secretary.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
Second that.
And now I just need to know if the nominee accepts.
Yes, I accept.
You've been doing a very good job,
Yes.
secretary, so thank you very much. We'll do a roll call. Any further discussion on that? All right, so we'll take a roll call vote on that. Gregory Thompson?
Yes.
Deirdre Mayu, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Rich Fitzgerald?
Yes.
And
Yes.
Elizabeth, thank you. And that passes 5-0. Excellent.
Thank you.
All right, so moving down our agenda today, we have approval of minutes, but we don't have
Yes, he
anything else.
deserves that.
Having all of this.
Secretary.
Yeah.
All right, so we don't have any approval of minutes, so we're going to move down to third one, which is committee and subcommittee communications. So I'm just going to put this out to any members of the board right now if they want to have anything for committee and subcommittee communications.
I would just recognize the former chair now and thank Bill for his work over the past year and his leadership and efforts as chairman, so thank you for that. And Beth as well as vice chair, thank you for your work
Yeah, thank you.
the past year. So.
Thank you very much.
That's a lot of work.
And I just wanted to state, just kind of so for the record, that, you know, the reason the meeting is at 9 a.m. in the morning on a Thursday, it's not our normal every other Monday evening, is because we were originally just strictly going to reorganize. And was never our intent to have a meeting at any other time, you know, for other reasons.
May I offer one more subcommittee communication? I just wanted to congratulate Ryan Quimby and the parade committee for a fantastic 4th of July parade. You even orchestrated the weather perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to item number 4, we have an opportunity for visitors to address the committee. So if anyone is here today that would like to address us, they can. I'm just going to do a couple of things before I take anyone forward. We had a sign-in sheet, and it was for people who wanted to come forward to make a public comment. So if you sign this thinking it was just a sign-in sheet to say you were here and you don't want to speak, that's okay. We're not going to force you to come up here. But what I will go is just through the list and say the name. And if you want to come up and present, you are more than welcome to come up. I'm just going to run through a couple of rules that we have during this open time right now. It's an opportunity to address the committee. It's not a question and answer session. It's an opportunity for statements to be made. We will allow, since we're on, just keeping a means of time here, speakers will be allowed 3 minutes to present their material. And I think we will kind of be tight to that. We have a lot of people here today. I don't know how many want to speak, and we do have some other things on the agenda that we will need to take care of today. All right, so starting with the first one on my list, I have a Karen, I'm sorry if Robitaille, thank you. So you are coming up to speak. Thank you.
Good
Welcome.
morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having
Karen
us.
Robitaille.
14 Western View Drive. I'm here this morning to speak on behalf of what I have learned is the potential elimination of the Child Development Program at East Long Meadow High School. I have a rising junior, Alexa Jarvis, who will be in the Child Development Program this year. I'm also the mother of 3 graduates of East Long Meadow High School, 2 of which attended vocational education. And I'm also a 20-plus year public education employee, 5 of those years spent in vocational education. And one thing I can say from those experiences is that exposure to career paths is something that should be done more in public schools, not less. And there are 2 big reasons in my mind for this. One of which, the first, is the business case. I understand that eliminating the program would potentially be a savings to the district. However, as we know, more and more education has become a business, and it is competitive. And in this competitive environment, parents are looking for schools that offer a variety of experiences, in particular exposure to career paths. So eliminating a program that is very attractive to parents that want to have that exposure but don't want to send their child to a full-on vocational program, that's very attractive. The way that vocational education is done in East Long Meadow and the surrounding towns makes it a little fractured for students. It's really very difficult for students to go and get a vocational education and also get the credits and the courses they need to attend a 4-year institution. Also, with the half-day schedule, it makes it really hard for them to really connect to their home school and feel like they're a part of the home school. So anything that can be offered in the public school environment that can expose students to different career paths, I think is very beneficial. The other issue is really around, I know that East Long Meadow, as well as the district that I work in, has a very, very high and admirable post-secondary attrition rate. That's great. However, more and more what studies and institutions are reporting is that we get them to college, but they don't stay there. Post-secondary institutions are reporting very, very, very high freshman and sophomore year dropout rates, some as high as 50%. And what they're anecdotally stating is that students are coming to them really unprepared for the real world. Their academic skills may be strong, but their ability to actually balance work and school and basic life skills is much more limited, and the stress is causing them to burn out and leave school prematurely. So I know when I went through East Long Meadow schools, I was first exposed to trades in middle school with, if anybody's here, I know you do. We had our metal shop and wood shop, and we were exposed to the arts and the business classes. They were great because they were really a way for us to kind of experience different things. So anyway, to cut any of those out, I know that this is how a lot of districts are struggling with the very same issues. But I would like to think that our district, really cares about students and wants what's best for them, from the very tiny to the big. So I would really advocate that you could reconsider. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. And thank you for the time limit too. All right, next in line is Erin Hansen.
Okay. Hello, I'm Erin Hansen. I already sent out an email, so most of you have already read the majority of my points, so in order to keep things on a timely, I'm not gonna
Thank you.
go through all of that again. But I just do wanna say, the main reason that I'm here is the same reason that she just spoke. I feel very strongly about the Little Big Kids program at the high school. From a little bit of a different perspective, I'm a parent of one of the little kids, Blake Hansen, who you can see is back there. And prior to going into this program, he would never have been as chatty or as social as he has been since he's been in here, that you've seen this morning. So he has come through in the past year learning more than I could have imagined. He has formed really amazing relationships with not only Mrs. Gothier, but with a lot of the big kids that were in the program. And I've even had one of them who is here today babysit for us. I mean, this has been like amazing for us as a family, and to see him and to see the way that the big kids have learned from this program. I know I'm calling them big kids, the high schoolers. And really to have hands-on experience in teaching and working with young kids. I wish I had that when I was in high school. It's just unbelievable what they can do in this program. To kind of touch on why I'm so concerned, besides the fact that the program itself is amazing, not just for my child, but for future generations of children. This program has been around for 20 years. I mean, it's been there for a very long time. And it's helped countless students. At this point, there is nothing else open for me to get my child into a preschool program for next year. So I'm highly concerned just from that aspect of what will I do with my child come September, because I'm a teacher, so I'll be going back to work. He needs preschool. He's got one more year before kindergarten, and this means a lot to me, to have him be in this environment where I know he's gonna learn, I know he's gonna be safe, I know he's gonna be taken care of. And I just don't wanna see that opportunity taken away and not have anything as a backup plan. I got nothing. I've called, everything's full. It's too late now. And this is really where I want him to be anyway. So, you know, even if there was something open, would I feel as good about it? Probably not. So that's, I'm gonna wrap it up there instead of keeping you here. But I do have copies of emails from some of the high school students that could not be here today. So I'll just give those to you. You can pass out.
Thank you.
And thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for all the helpful information. All right, next I have Kathy Hood. Welcome, how are you?
Very good, thank you. In case some of you are confused, besides being the middle school health education teacher, I am also the department head for health and family consumer science education, grades 6 through 12. I am not in favor of losing my program at the high school and for my program to be replaced with a new elective. Let me just give you a little history of the Little Big Kids nursery school.
Can you,
It's
Ms. Hood,
Rich can't hear
can
you.
you speak up a little bit?
Yeah, that won't do it.
It's a lab-based program which provides our high school students education and child development and early childhood education. The program has been part of our East Long Meadow High School Public Schools program for 20 years. Over 200 preschool children have been served by this program, and approximately 2,000 high school students have participated in both the child development and child nursery management classes. Those very students have gone on to participate in major careers due to the education that they learned in those classes, becoming pediatricians, school counselors, early childhood, elementary, and high school educators, nurses, social workers, occupational therapists, and speech pathologists. Presently, 13 little kids are signed up for the 2017-18 school year. We charge $300, which essentially covers just snacks and paints. Changing the program, as the parent before me said, will leave these parents with few to none options to place their child at such a late date. The students, the East Long Meadow High School students, due to the nature of the program and safety of the little kids that are involved, signing up for the program in the high school is oftentimes limited. So presently, approximately 52 students have been signed up for this coming school year. Last year, there was a waiting list, and some students are not allowed to sign up for the program simply because, for example, freshmen, and it's due to scheduling issues, has nothing to do with the lack of interest. And oftentimes, juniors and seniors are not allowed to sign up for the child development course if they're a junior or senior. What I would like to see happening moving forward as the department chair is to have open lines of communication with the administration to figure out some thinking outside of the box of how do we keep the program, and for both the little kids and the big kids in East Long Meadow. It's not a program that we want to lose. It's a community-based outreach program, as well as, and there's high school students here that can come up and speak more eloquently than I about their experience in being the program. But to just find out, as the department chair, that the program was eliminated basically, and now here's a program that's going in its place, and I have reached out to the administration to say, let's meet, let's discuss, let's think outside of the box. It would be a difficult course to fill, certainly because no longer do colleges offer family and consumer science there's no degree in that. It's health education. So I could teach the little big kids. I wouldn't want to, but I mean, I can cook, we can do it all now, unfortunately. And I understand the uniqueness of the program, but I think with a little creativity and thinking outside of the box, we can get it up and running again. And not just say, we can't fill it, it's too difficult, and now we're gonna put this course, something else in its place. I'm not willing to go down that easy.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right, next in line is Denise.
Okay, so I am going to not speak.
Okay.
Clearly, I am biased.
Perfect.
Okay.
I think I have, oh, Mary Jane McMahon, you're the next one.
Good morning.
Morning.
6 days retired. I just like to speak from a different perspective, observations more about what our high school students gain from this. But first I want to say that East Long Meadow School should be proud that they stand above many other districts in the numbers that are served in family and consumer science. Never let the program go. And I applaud you for this. Eventually, districts will be finding ways to add these programs back. So the expense of the program, a lot of it has already been paid for. And the reason it will be coming back is for a lot of reasons. But the FACT's goal is to improve the quality and standards of individual and family life. This is so important today as our society deals with many life-changing issues. Abuse, neglect, obesity, anxiety, depression. 80% of our health problems are related to food, and that is an expense. Life skills should be taught to our youth. Teens are 40% less empathetic than 30 years ago. So looking at it from a different angle, we are well aware that teens are experiencing stress at an all-time high level, higher than adults. 1 in 3 teens feel overwhelmed. Many factors are the cause. One factor that has been proven to reduce levels of stress and anxiety is learning empathy. Empathy begins with human connection. What better way for a teen to gain those connections than through a preschooler? On a regular basis, we have heard our students share that their problems melt away when they walk in the preschool room. Our teens receive a whole practical experience, and our town preschoolers, future students, receive individual attention from our teens. What's unique about the Child Development Nursery Management Program is the human connection. Yes, they learn hands-on practical skills on nursery school curriculum and management, family structures, prenatal growth and development and delivery. But in addition, they learn patience, waiting for a preschooler to respond to a question. They learn time management, moving activities, decision making, how to think on their feet and change a plan that goes bad. They rediscover the joy of reading as they read to the preschoolers and as they see the adult guests that come in to read stories. Problem solving, observation, and communication skills. They remember what it was like to be a 4-year-old when they work with the 4-year-olds. When you were happy and laughed, and you laughed loudly. When you were angry, you stomped your feet and pouted. And when you were sad, huge crocodile tears rolled down your cheeks. And you believed that you could be anything. Our teens are reliving this through the preschoolers. They learn to take ownership in being part of something bigger, a preschool. Teens receive back love as well as respect as their role as a teacher. There is a sense of pride about feeling good about helping to teach a young child. It's a boost in confidence that they may be lacking in other academic areas. Working in these classes is an experience that can help them with their future plans, an experience they'll never forget. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Darlene Phelan, I think is the last name. Are you coming? Okay, hi.
Yeah, so
Morning.
I wasn't, good morning. I wasn't really planning on saying anything, so I'll just keep it really quick. My daughter Alexis, sitting with Mrs. Goth here, it was her first year last year. She has one more year. My husband actually teaches at the high school, and he's the one who wanted to try it out. And I said, all right, we'll try it. If it doesn't, we'll figure something out for the next year. I was floored, amazed by the program. I wouldn't even think to put her anywhere else for her last year before kindergarten. And just, I know that she has grown so much socially, academically, I can't even believe it. But just to think more about the high schoolers, there was a little celebration at the end of the school year for the little kids. Many of the high schoolers came, and I don't believe it was mandatory. They put together a slideshow of the year for the little kids to take home, and it was just amazing. You could see how much love the high schoolers had for the little kids, for the program, how much it meant to them and impacted them in such a positive way. I think it's funny because drop-off is 7:30 in the morning, and the big kids are always at the door with a big smile on their face. And for high schoolers to be that happy that early in the morning, So it's really clear to see how much this program means to the big kids and even the little kids. My daughter would not want to be anywhere else. She's already told me she can't wait to go back. So I hope that the program stays because it's really a great program.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, moving down the list, I have 3 in a row here. There's Ava, Nicole, and Meyer Stewart. Are any of you interested?
I thought it was a sign-in.
Yes, I know, I did, yes.
But you know what, now that everybody's kind of said stuff, this is Maya, this is Ava, I'm Nicole. A little bit more on behalf of, I'm not an educator, I'm just a mom. We live on Redden Drive. Sorry, I knew I was gonna cry and I said sometime. We live on Redden Drive and we have seen 7 kids go through the Little Big Kid program, all now ranging from Ava, who's gonna go into her 2nd year of preschool, and our very good friend, who's going into 9th grade, who is the only big kid that I have entrusted yet with my children outside of school. She watches them all the time, but 1 second please. All of the children that we have seen go through this program are very, very well adjusted. They can speak with adults very well. They're all straight A students. And it's honestly, I feel because of this program, it's the best beginning of an education any child can get. I've toured other preschools because we got the notification that this was might be dissolved. And honestly, I was not impressed. I mean, the ones that have a very, very, very good reputation in this area, the preschools are all full. You can't get a spot. They offer a waiting list. Even the town one is a waiting list. And then the ones that I've toured, although they look at, nothing compares to this experience. They get one-on-one attention. By the time, she had no interest in letters, numbers, nothing before. Now she can write her name, she can recognize most of the letters, she can recognize numbers, which was amazing to me. I couldn't teach it to her, but high schoolers could teach it to her. it's just amazing. And although, you know, we would hate to, what? You wanna say something? What do you think about Little Big Kids and your experience there?
That is awesome.
That is awesome.
And that I used to go here, and on my first day here, I was super excited.
You were super excited, that's right. And also, like, we go places around town, and the big kids still, even with her, she's in 2nd grade now, the big kids still come up to her, they still remember her, and she still remembers them, and it's just so valuable. It's so valuable. I mean, even just thinking about the kids that we know that have come from it, they're amazing people. Just their character is, and it's because of this. It is because of this. Yes? You want to say one? Okay, then that will be the last thing we have to contribute. Okay, say one thing. But you're scared? Okay. Come on. Yeah. You don't want to say it? Why don't you talk about your Little Big Kid experience? Back up, let her speak. Stand up. You can. You're going against everything I just said. Come on. Say what you have. Tell me and I'll tell them. Well, you don't have to be scared. Everybody's here to help. Did you love Big Kids? Did you love going to Little Big Kids? No. You didn't love seeing Frankie Henry every day and all your friends, Alexis and Blake? Oh, it was something else? Okay, then we'll save it for another time. Okay, but it's an amazing program. It would be a disservice to the whole community if it was eliminated. Okay. Yeah, I think she's trying to say she loves Little Big Kids. We'll stop now. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. All right, continuing down, I have a Selena Pereira. Would you like to come up? Thank you.
I wasn't planning on speaking, but I just wanted to say a little something.
You may have to speak a little bit louder
Okay.
too, because we have someone on speakerphone
Okay.
too.
So I started my sophomore year in child development, and then my senior year I went through child nursery management, and then I became an intern that 1 year. So my experience just being with the same group of kids for a whole year was really great because you got to form really great bonds with them and definitely see them grow. You would see little changes every day, but at the end of the year we always went back to our charts and pictures that we have of them and see how much they've grown and how much more they've become social and how much more they've learned, and it was really amazing to see. And for me, it was one of the reasons why I wanted to become a pediatric physical therapist. Before, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted something sports related, but going through this program, I knew I wanted to work with kids because it was really the highlight of my day. You know, waking up at 6 in the morning, going to school, really wasn't something I wanted to do every day, but I knew that I had this class or I had working in the preschool, and I knew just being with them would make my day a lot better. So, thank you.
All right, well, thank you for coming up here. I have a Vanessa Torsha.
I'm not going to speak.
Okay, thank you. Frankie Torsha? Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I actually sent my speech originally that I'd written to Superintendent Smith, but I decided to
And we did get it.
I decided today that I would rather just speak from my heart because this program has touched my heart, and I've always liked working with children. My mom was a preschool teacher, so I've gotten to go and work after school with her sometimes and meet with her kids, but I got to work in this program for my entire senior year, and I don't think I could have survived without it. This program was the absolute best thing that I have ever done. I have gotten to make connections that I didn't think were possible with children who, some children at this age don't know how to express their emotions, and they don't know enough vocabulary to communicate how they feel with adults sometimes, especially adults, because it's so scary. They're adults, they're so much older, they don't see them, like they see us as big kids. They see us as like, wow, they're so cool, they're like a little kid, but they're older, and they don't always know how to talk to adults like that because there's so many differences between a preschooler and an adult, but I can still recollect some memories of being in preschool, not wanting to get out of my mom's car in the morning because I was scared on the first day, not knowing anyone there. It's all new friends, and to have all the little kid friends and then have all the big kid friends, it's such a unique thing because you can't work with teenagers anywhere else. This program actually gave me a new name. One of the preschoolers renamed me, and all of my friends now call me Henry. I don't have a single friend who has not called me Henry at least once. So like, for this past year, I've been getting called Henry and thinking that it was just another normal thing now. But it's little things like that that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life. These bonds, these memories that we've made, you can't make them anywhere else. And when one of the moms texted me, as soon as I woke up actually, I checked my phone and the text was there, and I read it, and I could just feel my heart break at the thought of this program not being here. I already made plans. I was like, Mom, I'm coming home and I'm going to the preschool at least one day on my winter break to read to these children. Because that was my favorite part, going into this program and reading to the children and seeing how excited they get when they answer questions and when I'm talking about the pictures and what's going on with them. Because you just don't get an experience like that anywhere else. And it really, this is something that I am going to treasure for the rest of my life. So I really urge you, don't take this away, because this is something that your kids will, I don't know if any of you have kids, but this is something that they will love if they're a part of. My sister's already ready to take this program because I've told her so much about it. So I really hope that this program can stay for not just the little kids or their parents, but the big kids too, because it's important to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I have Rob Hanson.
Morning.
Morning.
So, my wife Erin has already spoken, father of Blake, and I think that it's important just to hit on a few things. The first being, as the one that dropped off Blake almost every morning, we went from a very scared Blake the first week and trying to get out of the house be there for 7:30 to we were dressed and ready to get out of the house by 6:30 because he was looking forward to it. So I think it's important to realize, like, as the parents speak about this, it is really the excitement in the kids and the excitement to go see Emily at the front door every morning, have Frankie bring them out in the afternoon, see Mrs. Gauthier, see the fish that are in the hermit crabs that are in the classroom. All of those things come together and encompass their lifestyle. So when they come home, we sit down and talk at dinner about what happened at school. We're talking about the fish, the hermit crabs, what they did, the big kids, writing their name every morning. So a lot of these experiences are very, very important to not only them, but to us as the parents. The second thing is most of the children in this class, the little kids, have siblings who are looking forward to this class in the future. Blake's younger brother looking forward to it. I know many of the other big kids, or little kids in the class, all have younger siblings. We were talking about this at the open house, how probably not next year, but the year after that, it will be full of most of their siblings, the same group of people that attend birthday parties outside of this together. The relationship in that school, Blake's gotten to develop with the school resource officer. You don't get those types of experiences at Meadowbrook in that program. And when we tell people about this program in other districts, they're amazed. And I think that's something that we, as town community members, should be striving to not cut, but to encourage and grow. If the Meadowbrook program is filling up every year, let's figure out ways to grow this program and not cut this program. Maybe we need to up the cost a little bit to bring in more kids, bring in another classroom. Let's figure out ways to explore this and make the program better, not cut it, because it is something that will drive people into this town. And when you tell people about it, it is unbelievable the reaction that you get, that your town offers that, and it's a great, great opportunity for the children. And the last thing I kind of want to hit on is just the transparency, of the town. Town has been known to be very transparent. One of the highlights of the public meetings that they used to have, and it's something that we strived for when we moved into town, is to have that opportunity. And, we knew as the parents that the program was highly coveted. A lot of big kids put in for it. You could see it. The interest was there. So when we were told that there was a lack of interest, it really struck us the wrong way because we knew that just wasn't true and there was something else hidden behind there. So we wanted to make sure And that's why so many people are here today, because we want to make sure that everybody knows our concerns and that we're all on the same page and we're being transparent about it. So thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, moving down, I have Emily Lord. Am I pronouncing the last name correctly? Emily, how are you?
Good morning.
Morning.
I've already sent an email, so I'm gonna be
Yes.
short.
Yeah, we did
but,
that.
Thank you.
What Blake's dad said, every morning I would be excited to go to school because I knew I'd be bringing him into the classroom and we'd have a conversation on his way to his locker. As with all the other little kids, like, that's like one-on-one time you get with them and you can create a bond with them. And sometimes, like, you can't create a bond with older kids like your age, so as well as a little kid, so it's like nice to know that going into that classroom, you are loved and they're excited to see you. So just like people are excited to see you, like high school students, they can be like mean and like standoffish to you, but having a preschooler seeing you in the morning and wanting, like, running to you, it's amazing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Audrey DeVoy? You don't have to come up to speak. Okay, you are, there you are, come on up. I didn't see you there.
Well, all I have to say, I don't have to say much, but I created a wonderful bond with Blake. I babysit him on, like, not a lot, but, and when I do, we have the best time, and if it wasn't for this program, then I wouldn't have met him and made the bond with him. And this program made me realize that I do want to go into teaching and early education, and if it wasn't for this, then I wouldn't have even thought about that, because it wasn't even in my head before this, so it really is a great program, and I do not recommend getting rid of it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And coming down at the end, I have Mackenzie Quigley. Okay, so that wraps up our opportunity for visitors to address the committee. I just like thank you. It's not easy to come up here, so thank you very much for coming up and speaking.
Do you want to move that 7.1 up now?
If you want.
So I'll move that we move 7.1 to the next order of business.
So I have a motion made.
I'll second it.
Bill seconded. Any discussion on moving that up? Okay, so that, so all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Say nay. And that carries forward to 5-0. So we will move on to the next order of business. We'll have the East Long Meadow High School proposal for a new elective. Gotta get into the rhythm of this again.
It takes a little warm up.
First, I want to say thank you for giving us an opportunity to come talk to you today. Regarding our guest today, I think the high school's always acknowledged that our preschool program does a great service, not only to our community, but to our students. And Ms. Gauthier has done a great job in that position. The retirement news came as quite a surprise for the high school and left us kind of scrambling in terms of what we do next. And we have a lot of different concerns that we can address at the end of this presentation, but I just wanted to share that first.
Dr. Flanagan, would you be able to speak up a little bit?
Sure. Let me start over?
No, I think just if you
All
speak
right.
up.
1 second, please. All right. Okay. So again, thanks for having us come today. What I'm here today is to speak to you about something that I believe is that something that could transform teaching and learning at the high school. I believe that we have a very unique opportunity right now to change the way that teachers are teaching to make it more engaging and prepare our students for college and career readiness. I also think we have an opportunity to give kids the skills that a lot of employers out there are asking for. This opportunity was not available last year, it wasn't available the year before. I don't think it'll be available in the near future. It's a very unique situation. It's a position that I have been passionate about and have been advocating for several years. It was a position that I've also worked with Mr. Quimby in talking it through, and he's going to talk a little bit about that in just a minute. As principals, we are often told to think outside the box in terms of how we improve teaching and learning in our building. At the end of the year, when we are told to align or to develop our budget request, we are often told to think fiscally responsibly and many times encouraged to look at resources and not so much adding new positions because it has such a burden to the town's budget in terms of salaries and in terms of resources. So adhering to that directive, I'd like to propose the introduction of an instructional technology specialist to the high school. And just to give you an understanding of how technology has kind of developed at the high school, the year before I came to ELHS, in 2011, we introduced Mimeo boards. That was the otherwise known as the smart boards. That was introduced to staff with minimal professional development, and as a result of that, it fizzled out. We don't have Mimeos at use at the high school anymore, and I think a big part of that was because we didn't have the support for teachers to see how to utilize these technologies. In 2014, I think we got a real nice opportunity to kind of kickstart a new kind of dynamic with technology at the high school when we gave every teacher in the district a laptop. And what was wonderful about that, and I think the reason why it was so successful, is because we were very thoughtful in the professional development that we created along with the distribution of laptops. We had teachers who were serving as facilitators, but we weren't able to sustain that embedded professional development that keeps these type of initiatives going. In 2015, we started to see the advent of Google Tools, Google Docs, Google Suites at the high school, as well as Google Classroom. And where I see that we have a lot of teachers who are using Google Docs. We still have very small, limited numbers of teachers who are using Google Classroom, which, by the way, is a tool that we're seeing most colleges utilizing with their students as well. So it's good preparation for our students as they get ready for college to have exposure to these types of technology opportunities. In 2016, we saw the introduction of Mastery Connect, which was a software program that was developed to help our teachers with formative assessments. We offered 5 PD days to our teachers to carry out the program itself. Unfortunately, we did not see enough of a use of that product as we would have liked, and I do feel that a big part of that is we didn't have the embedded PD, the consistent focus on that somebody like an instructional technology specialist could offer our staff in terms of use. So in short, I think in terms of technology use at the high school, I think we've come a long way. I think we see pockets of teachers that are using it and some that are not. One of the things that I wanted to point out is when it comes to technology, technology is just a tool. What we're after is embedding the 21st century learning skills of creativity, collaboration, communication in use with technology. While I was doing my dissertation at Boston College, I did it on the integration of technologies in schools. And one of the foundations that they listed as success of schools, taking technology from what we call substitution. In other words, people use technology now to take place of a pen and paper through Microsoft Docs. So that's a very low level of technology use. What we want to see, and I think what employers want to see, is students who are coming ready, utilizing technology to think outside the box, to create new tasks, to be able to problem solve, collaborate, and critical think using the technology. That's what we're trying to get at the high school, and unfortunately I think we're kind of at a lull right now. That's not to say that teachers are not utilizing technology, they are, but I think that you have to have somebody who is constantly available to teachers to provide them that embedded professional development throughout the course of a workday so that they have questions or they want that resource, it's available to them. So why do we need this? I thought I'd have Mr. Quimby kind of talk from the IT perspective of why this position would be so beneficial. I don't know if he's still here.
Still here.
Thanks.
Chair. RJ took my chair, so. So in 2013, I started the conversation with the then Appropriations Committee, the Board of Selectmen, about a technology specialist for FY15. It was in my forecast. Unfortunately, as we know, the government wasn't super receptive back then to changes or increases. The technology landscape for the district has changed. When I had first become the IT director on the school side, all we had was PCs. They were 5-year-old PCs. We replaced those with the MacBooks, and since then, at the high school level, we have Windows carts, we have Mac carts, and a lot of Chromebooks. It's difficult to try and know all the different technologies, but it's necessary because with the Chromebooks, with the lower price point, we could have more devices, more students using them. but they can't do a lot of the things that the higher level technology can. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I think it's important to have kind of like a technology coach or a technology specialist that can help integrate that technology with the staff. You know, we, as the IT department, we keep the lights blinking and the things working, and you know, we don't have the staffing to actually get into the educational side of it.
So going back to the educational side of it and why this is needed, our recently developed District SMART Goal number 2 states that 100% of ELPS teachers will engage students in 21st century learning experiences to ensure every student reaches his or her potential. In my opinion, this position would hit that out of the park, because we would be providing direct, embedded professional development for teachers to hone in. Teachers' days are very full. They are very concentrated on their curriculum, which is the content and skills. So oftentimes they don't have the time to kind of, play around with the technology, research some of the new things that are happening in technology. So an instructional technology specialist would help with this. The other thing I want to point out is that the East Long Meadow learning expectations very specifically states that we will develop independent and collaborative work practices through the use of technology, and we will develop creativity and critical thinking skills. So again, this position would help us accomplish that goal as well. I believe that this will have more profound impact on teaching and learning on a grand scale than any other position in our building, because it is something that will hit every single teacher and every single student. Well, this year we did a parent survey, and we asked our parents, basically, how do you think we're doing in terms of cultivating collaborative skills, creativity, critical thinking, 21st century skills? And these are just some of the comments that our parents shared with us. And just to read them, technology is lacking. ELHS needs to provide more opportunities for collaboration and creativity. Technology use is more than just working with a Google Doc together or having a cart of laptops. Students need to be more engaged. We also did a survey with our students, and one of the questions we asked is, what teaching strategies do you see the most in your courses of study? 54% of our students cited that teacher's lecture is the most used teaching method at the high school. So for us, it was a call of action of how do we embed our teachers with the skills and knowledge to help them engage our students with 21st century teaching skills. The other thing I want to point out is a recent article from Forbes magazine states the top criteria or characteristics that employers are looking for in students. And I heard a parent mention this, and I was glad to hear that, because some of the things that that employers are looking for all hit 21st century learning skills. Skills such as leadership. 80% of employers want to see students taking initiatives. They want them to be able to work in a team. They want communication skills, problem-solving skills, communication skills verbally, strong work ethic. All of these fit well into that quest for developing more 21st century skills on a grand scale. So in terms of specifically what an instructional technology specialist do, it's a fairly new position. Our neighbor right down the road, Long Meadow, has their own instructional technology specialist. It's one we're starting to see pop up in many districts throughout the country. And essentially what they do is they provide instruction, training, support, and resources to help facilitate and develop 21st century learning skills, as well as the Massachusetts digital literacy standards. So that is something that the state of Massachusetts has asked us to kind of make sure that we're covering throughout our course of studies, through the use of technology in the classroom. This position, and I kind of outlined some potential job functions, would provide input to the development of 21st century learning skills and digital literacy with all our staff and with all our students. They would investigate and disseminate information and best practice, not only on technology, but 21st century learning skills. They would assist teachers in preparing content-based lessons that infuse 21st century learning skills throughout the use of technology. I can tell you that in one of my districts, we had an instructional technology specialist, and the way that it would work is that a teacher, let's say a social studies teacher, would say, I'm doing a lesson on the civil rights movement. What can you help me provide me in terms of lessons to enhance that and make sure that it's more of a hands-on learning experience? And one of the cool things that our instructional technologists did was thinking outside the box. They actually contacted the son of Martin Luther King in Chicago, an experience my students would never had if it hadn't been for the use of Google Chat. And he actually phoned in, or videoed in to the class, and the students were able to interact with a very profound civil rights leader. And that was something that, you know, the technology specialists kind of thought outside the box and tried to help the teacher develop that lesson. Extremely powerful. So the instructional technology specialists also communicate with the school and our parents and let them know what we're doing in terms of the areas of technology. They would assist in the development and implementation of technology professional development throughout the building, and they would assess the needs and plans for new technology for the school and provide recommendations to the principal. So this would be that person who's always on the cutting edge, trying to ensure that we're doing everything in our power to make sure our kids are accomplishing the 21st century skills through the use of technology. We don't have anyone right now in our building that's that focused and that concentrated, and that's a big part of moving this whole thing forward. So why do this now? One of the things that I mentioned earlier is we have a unique opportunity right now in terms of the fiscal piece of this. I believe that you can add this new position without any additional cost to the town in terms of salary and insurance benefits, as you well know, is a big part of a concern for when we're developing the town budget. When we were very nervous, to be honest with you, and overwhelmed about the recent retirement, because what many don't know is that the position is not just child development and child nursery, it's also a culinary arts piece. I can tell you that when we were hiring for a new culinary arts teacher, which we recently did, it was not easy. We didn't have many applicants. I think we had like 7 people apply. And so to find a qualified candidate just to teach that course was challenging. So we were a little overwhelmed and a little nervous when we thought of the possibilities. How do you get a person that has both? And I have to disagree. I don't think that the Family Consumer Science certification necessarily makes you qualified to teach both of those courses. For example, in our culinary arts classes, there's a lot of knife safety. The kids are working with some serious, dangerous tools. We also have been seeing a growing number of special education students who are being infused, rightfully so, into the general education courses such as culinary arts. So the safety concern is huge, and we're just not sure of how do you find that person. So if you could give us both, I'd be really excited. But from what I've understood from the past few years as being a part of the budget development, that we're not encouraging new positions such as this, and that we are often asked to think, outside the box and trying to, when we have a retirement, for example, when I first came on, there was a need at the high school to have an adjustment counselor. Fiscally, we did not see the money there for that. And so we had a retirement, I believe, in the foreign language department. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it was at the foreign language department. And so what we did is we absorbed that position, and we were able to get an adjustment counselor to serve our entire student population. So that's a predicament that we're in, but I do believe that this position is something that will change the high school profoundly in terms of getting our kids ready for life beyond high school. So.
Thank you for that. What I want to do right now is just open it up to any comments from anyone on the board right now. Any words?
We didn't have this as a budget request prior.
No, because when we typically do our budget requests for the high schools, they're usually for imperative teaching positions. So for example, we talked about hiring a special for student supports, and we were able to kind of do that internally, and I believe that the district also obtained funds for that purposes. So this is a position that is not essential in the terms of the regular everyday workings of the school. So that's why that was not on that budget request. But we have been talking, and the other piece of that is Ryan has been talking about the possibility through his department to kind of bring that into the fold, but has not had very success in budget getting this position into the system.
Have you had that as a request before?
It was forecast and never actually put in for funding for it.
Okay.
It was always kind of like, no, we won't worry about that right now.
Right.
I haven't tried this new form of government.
Right. And This would be a certified teacher position.
Yeah,
with a
there's actually, we have a couple staff members right now who are chomping at the bit for something like this because they've just gotten recently certified as an instructional technology specialist, which is a very new certification. But that's the other good part, is that we do have staff member that could easily be put into that position. And I think that's huge because, you know, teachers want to be, they're not as apt to work with somebody that they don't really have a relationship with. And this would be somebody, hopefully, within the district that people know, that they could be feel comfortable going to. So for that reason too, it was definitely an advantage for us.
What about the opportunity to have it as a, you mentioned that within the district, as a district position, would that not be enough?
So the research shows is that if you really want to move instructional technology education in your schools, you should have an instructional specialist designated for the unique needs at each level. I can tell you, and Valerie and I recently visited Long Meadow High School, they have an instructional specialist that covers for the district. They are no more far behind than East Long Meadow in terms of technology. And they did tell us that they are spread out, you know, they're covering the entire district.
I guess my thing is, you know, I've seen how you've wanted to increase one of your guidance counselor's position for years, and for years we'd see it come back, we'd see it come back, we'd see it come back, and it would come back, and eventually we were able to do, because I believe she's full-time now. I've never seen this before. I mean, I feel like this is just, and I know that it's on the radar, and I understand that it's there, but if you were passionate about it, and it needed to happen, it should have been on our list for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, or whatever it might be.
Well, like I explained, Mr. Quimby
I know
was
that, but
trying to work it through that angle.
if it was really that, and you wanted to become a district position, I believe that it should have been on everybody's radar a little bit sooner than a week ago.
Well, we have been talking about this, Ms. Boucher. We have been talking about for a very long time of how we improve technology. One of our SMART goals this year is extremely focused on 21st centuries. So it has been something that has been brought up before to school committee.
Yes, I am aware that it has been brought up.
But the other piece of this,
I'm talking budget-wise.
the other piece of this is that there are other essential positions that take priority. I see this as a unique opportunity that I will never get again. The reason why I didn't put it on our budgets in the past is because our special ed program takes a priority. Those kids are our most needful kids, and that is a very complicated area to fill. I was trying to work with Mr. Quimby. I was also trying to think fiscally responsible of a way to bring this position into the district that would give no extra cost to the town in terms of salary or insurance benefits.
I feel that there is merit. I obviously do not disagree with the merit to this, but what I keep getting out of this presentation is teach the teachers, teach the teachers, teach the teachers, teach the teachers.
Teach the students too, this is also a teaching position.
But that's secondary to teaching the teachers is what I'm getting out of this. And I think that this school committee is committed to technology within our schools.
We have to teach the teachers how to utilize technology in order to be successful for students.
I know that, but I guess I feel like there's also, that's the feeling I'm getting. We're gonna probably have an impasse there, and I think it is important to have the technology. I think it is important to embrace it. But the one thing I think I know for sure, that this school system will increase in their technology as we move forward. We have embraced technology within this school system. If we lose a program like Little Big Kids, it will never, ever, ever happen again. And not only should we embrace that program, we should figure out how to make it shine.
Well, one thing I will say, and I know this is an emotional topic, I'm not saying that the preschool program is not valuable, but I'm charged as a principal to make educational decisions that are best for the majority of my students. I see this position as something that will hit every single teacher and every single student. This year alone, the nursery school program can only house 11 students at a time. This is a program that will hit every single student, every single teacher. And you mentioned, I keep talking about teaching teachers. That's a big part of any successful initiative, is if teachers don't understand it, it won't be used, it won't be successful. So you start with the teachers first. the students will be impacted because their classroom engagement will skyrocket. We've also thought about having this person teach some new technology courses. Our students right now are engaged in some great courses in business and technology, but the world is changing every single day. And to have somebody on the cutting edge of, and I can't do it alone, my APs can't do it, it's got to be somebody who's out there that is talking to businesses, who knows what's going on in the world around us to help educate us to be better in that area. So for me, it's not a this or that. I was just looking at it from the perspective of, I have an opportunity to bring a position that I don't think I'll ever be able to, straight off the box, get into the high school. It doesn't seem like, you know, that there's more priorities, if you will.
I think you feel like, I guess I feel that we have always, whenever you come forward to us with new ideas and new classes and new things, I think we're very open to all of that.
I agree.
And I really, in my heart, 100%, do not think that if this is something that you want in the future for our school, our high school, that we are going to sit there and not try to help you figure out how to get it. Whether it's moving this around and organizing. I think we've always been very good about doing our best to get new programs in.
I'm not arguing that. I was looking at this as a way to save the town and the district money, because that has been something that has been shared with us. You know, try not to add new positions. You know, that's where I was coming from. We're often told when someone retires, think about how the impact of that, how you, if there are specific staff needs that can be utilized for that purpose, that's what you do. So that's what I was doing. It didn't start off as, let's get rid of the preschool. I want to make that very clear. We were very nervous, we still are, about will we even be able to find that person? And if we don't, what is that going to mean for our community? On the other flip side of that, we also were like, if we don't get it, what's our plan B? Because we always have to have a plan B. If that program doesn't run, where are those kids going to go? How do we fill that gap? And this is the direction that we went down.
So I just want to add to it also and say, I understand you're part of that, you're looking out for the students, what's something that you can bring to the school that benefits the students. But also as a board, we're representative of the community. And I want to go back a couple of years ago where we had a 1% increase and we had over $450,000 that we had to find in the budget to keep programs or to, you know, without making too many cuts. And one of the suggestions made from some of our leadership team members were, let's cut G&T. And we as a committee, I think a few of us here and there may or may not have disagreed or agreed with it. Majority of us agreed that G&T was important to our community and to our schools, and we didn't want to see it cut. And I think from the community that was present today and the emails we've received, it's an important program to them, the childhood development program. And I personally would feel remiss to now replace that program with the instructional technology specialist and losing that program, because as Elizabeth said, if we cut a program, we never get it back. And we don't want to devalue the importance of this program, but I don't know if I want to see this program in lieu of another program, because they're all important to us.
So how do we make that work?
Well, I think that's our challenge now.
That's the challenge.
Because I'm in agreement with everybody else. I see the value in this, but not at the expense of something that reverberates throughout the community.
So if I put this on my budget request for next year for the high school, I will be guaranteed this position?
I don't think we can guarantee
Can't
anything.
guarantee
I don't think we can guarantee anything.
That's where I'm at right now, because I know that's gonna be a hard road to come down.
Can we, because for us it is either or decision. You brought forward an either or
Right.
decision for us. So you said it's not for you, but it is for us. So we have to look at both sides for it. And I think we all see value in the program. We see that there's children who already signed up. We see that there are students who already signed up. It's late in the game, so there's a reality to that fact. The other side of it,
students, but yes.
but the other side of it is, let's work on it, let's figure it out, because I think it's clear we all see value in this.
Right.
And the more we know about it, the better. Is there an opportunity? You say we have staff members that are available, perhaps.
I was just talking to a teacher today, they were psyched about
Can
the
we
possibility.
create some sort of opportunity for them to do this some the first year, so maybe perhaps on a stipend basis? I know there's contractual things we'd have to deal with. But
we have one teacher
can we
at the
be
high
creative
school.
in that
We've
regard?
been thinking about that, and we went down that road. We have one teacher who actually has the certification. He's a social studies teacher. He's actually looking for a position in this particular field. but he also teaches AP, and to ask an AP teacher to take on an additional load is not fair, and I think they would do
Well,
the
that's why I
kids
say
a
a stipend. I
disservice,
mean,
yeah.
if they're really interested in doing it, and there's the long-term goal of actually funding a position like this, then that's how we started. And sometimes, you're right, we can't fund a brand-new whole position sometimes. Sometimes we can, we have in the past, but sometimes we can't. So is there a way to step in for the first year? We need this, I'm no doubt about it, we need some of this, more of this in the school, all of the schools,
Our
right?
parents are saying so, and our students
So
are saying so.
let's get there together, but I go back to, it is an either-or decision for us, and I don't know, I'm getting the feeling that it's gonna be one, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm just saying that, let's figure out what we can do this year, in addition to what we're doing, and then next year, see what we can do.
And then keep going,
Yeah.
keep going forward.
So what I just wanted right now is just ask Mr. Ficero if he has anything he'd like to add to the conversation?
Not at this point, thank you, Deidre.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add or contribute? So do you understand the situation that we're in, that it's put us in an either or, as Greg was saying?
Oh yeah, I'm just following directives, and I
Right.
thought I might have been mishearing your communication, that when these kind of positions come up, that we should think creatively to serve the best interest of our students. So I would ask for both if I could, but I was kind of under the impression that was a long shot.
Well, and I think the
Now I'm
opportunity,
hearing differently,
the
so
opportunity
that's
for
encouraging.
both, though, is already passed, right? Because the budget's already set. So the opportunity for both is in the budget requests and in those discussions. So we're on a time issue more than to prevent the
other thing,
both.
Greg, though, is that we do need additional staff in more high priority areas such as special education. So, that's a challenge for me. I
It's
saw
a challenge
this.
for all of us,
It's a
though.
challenge for
I
all
saw
of us.
this
and we-
as an opportunity to bring something in that I wouldn't necessarily ask of you, working with Mr. Quimby to see if the town could support it on that end. I didn't see the end of the year budget process as an opportunity to bring in something as innovative as this. It's
Oh,
usually
come on,
been.
you have to bring it to us
But-
for us to
But when we
even
have
consider it, though.
priorities in higher needs areas such as special education, I would be irresponsible as a principal to put this above that, is what
But
I'm
it's
saying.
just to inform us of it,
Yeah.
that's all. Not necessarily even ranking it, but just say, hey, this is something that's on the radar.
We're willing to sit in
But
front
we're
of the
willing
town
to, we're
council.
gonna work on it. We're not saying, I don't think, what I'm getting is, we're not saying no. But we're just, now it's up to us to figure out how to do it, and not at the expense of another program. And that's what I'm wrestling
And
with.
we're certainly willing to fight for stuff that's gonna
Absolutely.
improve education in this
I
town,
mean,
so.
We've
We're
got
on
a
the
new,
same team.
we are. We've got a
to
new
the
form of
kids.
town government, and we went through this budget process, and it was entirely different this year. And I think Mr. Quimby can attest to that, because everybody was new going through this. But the next year, it's gonna be a little bit smoother, because we're figuring out how the system works. But we need to know about these, what's on your radar, what you're
We've
thinking
been
of.
told in the past not to be discouraged from putting forward.
But you
new
know what, you
positions.
can always come and say, hey, can we just have a conversation about something that I'm thinking of?
And even
Oh, I
when,
did do that.
even
That's
being
right.
discouraged,
No, you know what I mean. I mean, not like, all of a sudden, well, it put us in an either or position. Because I think, we're definitely willing to work on this. I don't wanna speak out of line here, but that's the message that I'm getting is from this committee. Now it's our challenge.
And we'll go to the town
And we
council
will.
with our budget, and we'll say, this is on it, and this is a high priority, and this is important, and this has to be done. But I just, at the risk of another program that'll be lost forever, and we will do what we have to do if it's something that you're really passionate about.
I'm also passionate about
And
my
you know it's
special ed
best for
students too,
kids.
Beth.
Well, yeah, but
I
that's,
wouldn't put this, if you asked me next year to put on the budget and I still needed a special ed teacher, I would go for the special ed teacher because that is a population of students that needs it the most.
Right.
but
So
we
I
see,
can't see myself asking for that and this.
but we see the value in this also. So then we start wrestling, and that's how we have to go forward. We can bring Mr. Quimby into the conversation,
and
because
then-
he sees the value.
and I know, there's a reality of the fact that there's only so much money in the bucket, I get that, we deal with that all the time, right? So I appreciate the creativeness, and that's what you have to.
That's what I was
That's
trying to do.
exactly
But,
No,
but
you-
bring these things to us, right? And we have discussions, and then sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't agree. So continue to do that.
Right.
And let's collectively find a way to fund this. There's definitely merit in it.
Right.
Let's do
There
it.
is.
And so if we can get through this year, with some more PD, or I don't know what we would need necessarily. We're all in favor of helping this idea, and then moving forward, we'll see what else we can do. Okay.
Fair enough.
So are we taking a vote on anything for this? I mean, it was just a proposal.
I don't think we have to.
Well, I can withdraw it. It's not an issue for me. I came here today because I thought that was the proper procedure. I didn't talk to certain staff member because there's a protocol in place for that. So if you took that as I didn't want to talk to you, I think I made it very clear that I had to follow this procedure first. So I'm just trying to follow the protocol for when these kind of things come up.
Okay.
So if you're telling me that that's not something that we can invest in right now, that's fine.
Well, is there something we can invest in that's not a full-time position right now? Can we get some outside consultation? Can we create a stipend of sorts? I mean, let's look at this year, instead of this, this.
Right.
And then can we make steps to
And
get
then
to
start
this?
taking the steps.
And I'd like to see a little bit more of like, what does this mean? What does it look like in the school? And how do we utilize it? And what
We
are the
have
students?
teachers that want to use technology but don't have the time or the energy to kind of it takes a lot to develop 21st century skills on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a simple task.
We
So
recognize it. We recognize
I feel
that.
my teachers do a great job with that, but they could use that support and then translates to the students because the kids are gonna be more engaged in class. Like I said, it bothers me that 50% of our students are saying, all they're engaging in is lecturing. I want to see more for them because I want them to be practicing real world kind of applications and discussions and it happens, it does happen, but I want to see more of that and I think our students do too. So, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, we appreciate it. So, what do we do with this?
We can just take no action.
Do we need
It wasn't-
a motion? Do
No.
we need a motion for that?
No, because,
No, because
Go ahead, Rich.
the program of study stays as is.
yeah. Rich,
Yeah, I'm gonna sign up as chairperson at this time.
you're gonna what?
I'm gonna sign out at this time.
Okay.
Thanks,
Okay,
Rich.
thank you,
Bye.
thank you.
Thank you, Rich.
Thanks, Rich.
So, by this committee not taking action, then things will
There's
stay.
nothing
as they
changes.
are next year.
Program of study stays the
So-
same, so the posting needs to be a family and consumer
Yeah.
science teacher.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So as of September,
Yeah,
the
everything,
Little Big
nothing
Kids program
changes.
still changed. It's still there, it's not going anywhere.
One item I think we should look, and I think Ms. Hood said this, is that we're gonna need help in recruiting and getting the right person to keep this program going the way it has been.
I don't believe it's been advertised.
It has not,
And
no,
I
because we
know-
needed to do this first.
I know one individual already, so,
Okay,
um,
so
I don't-
get the word out, let's get someone who's qualified to do this, and I know
Get the
that
posting up.
Ms. Hood has
And the
offered
parents are gonna need to
to.
be notified too, because they've already been told to look elsewhere.
Right.
So,
But we're not,
Well, we need to.
No, we
make-
should
Well, we
send
have-
Mrs. Gother, do you have a list of all the parents? Okay, would you be able to give me that? Okay, and we'll notify them.
and I think she was confused. It is the same certification, preschool, culinary arts, food and nutrition, clothing, textiles,
And
all
health.
same.
It's all one.
It's
It
all
all falls under
Okay.
the same.
Unfortunately, as DESI pushes us to be more progressive, it seems like they get less progressive. So
Yeah.
they've lumped it all into one license,
You're
which
100%
does
correct.
present challenges.
it does. So, okay.
On the professional development end, this year is the first year we'll have 2 full professional development days within the school year. And our model, hopefully if by September we can pull it off, is going to be predominantly with our own staff presenting workshops. And so we do have the opportunity for people to start doing this in 90-minute or 3-hour blocks over the course of 2 professional development days. Mr. Mackey is working on putting something together, and I think he's going to be talking with Mr. Naglieri and Mr. Wiedersheim about that.
Okay.
But certainly we can add people to that.
And then how,
There's a number of modules already submitted for integration with technology in
Okay.
the classroom. Google Classroom's using that, other tech.
and do we have the opportunity to provide a stipend of sorts? I know it's not in the contract, but if we have people that are interested in this and have the ability to help the rest of the staff.
Correct, yeah.
I understand they're all busy, but let's compensate them for their time and start it.
Well, that's,
I mean, we always budget for professional development.
Yeah.
And so what we have to look at is, especially when we're putting something like this together, is how much we can afford.
right.
But you put this into the mix and you continue to think, okay, so what would that look like in terms of a stipend?
Right.
What does that look like in terms of a workshop? And we go forward. The key is, since this will be the first time, we will look to do 2 days where it's predominantly all staff members presenting, and not outside presenters, is getting people to step up and actually do the presentation. And that's not easy.
For Mr. Zilch, it would be a perfect opportunity
Yeah.
to,
He has submitted.
you know,
And
Yes.
which would be
Beautiful.
good.
Okay.
I wanted to comment about the preschoolers who sat here beautifally.
Right.
They
They
didn't
really did.
wiggle or anything.
Yeah.
And the fact that the big kids took the little kids out when they did start to wiggle.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And for me, it's always thanking the community to come out.
Yeah.
It's always nice to know what you're thinking. A lot of times, we don't hear something unless it's a complaint, so to really hear some positive words, it's always very nice. So
And
thank
just a
you.
side note, one of our preschoolers is a Harvard graduate and is going into teaching. And we have dozens and dozens of students who found the love of teaching through the Little Big Kids program, have gone on to teaching, and we have quite a few in our district. So they went out and came back to give back.
Can I just ask a question, totally Little Bigs kids? Thank you. And that's the technology piece. So I do hear what Gina's saying about the position. My only concern as a taxpayer is, what does the library media specialist person do? I'm confused. It sounds like, at least at Birchland Park, our librarian does everything she just talked about. So as a teacher, I go to her and I say, I'm doing a lesson on blah, blah. Is there something creative, technology-wise, I can incorporate into my classroom? And she does the grunt work and gives it to me, because personally, we're sitting here going, we don't have the time. You know,
Right. No,
it all sounds good, and I include as much technology as I can in the classroom. I hear what Gina's saying, because I agree with it. I just don't know do we already have the people in position and it's not happening? I'm not sure.
I think it's the technology aspect of it. I think it sounds like you're referring to the research part of it and the assistants
Well, in
at
my
Birchland.
building, we have somebody that does that job. We call it the librarian.
Right, but it might be something different than what she's talking
Well,
about.
right.
Yeah.
And that's why we want a little bit more
we need more information.
Because there's
I still want-
crossover,
Those are
I
great
think there's
questions.
crossover in
There's
two
There's gotta be
licenses.
some kind of a,
But you're always gonna find,
We'll figure this out and find out what the details are and
Right.
what other ways, like Greg said, are there other people we can work with and utilize too.
but you might find somebody in each building that specializes in something and is willing to help you out.
I
And I
mean-
think that's where we're at.
certainly, we're at the point where, we keep our little big school. One thing that could be creative, and I'll talk to Gina, is I would propose we hire an early childhood person. Therefore, they don't need the family and consumer science certification, and it would be a half-time, and then pay the new family and consumer science person a 3-3. They'd have to pay the extra stipend because she would be
Pay
teaching
stipend for
3-3.
teaching,
Yeah.
extra.
That could open up some money. I'm not happy I'm losing a 0.5, but I'm willing to compromise,
Would you
Is
get
that-
applicants for a .5 position?
Is that because the preschools have to?
I don't know.
just don't
You
know.
have
Is
to
it half day
advertise.
preschool? Is that why I say that?
Well,
It is half day now?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it would be maybe even more than a part 0.5.
0.6.
You'd have to give prep time, so, you know
0.6
what
or
I'm saying?
0.7.
Yeah,
that's
But
well,
it would open up
But
some
it
money
would.
for Gina
Well,
to
this is-
say to some of the teachers that she has in her building, look, it's not full-time and
Yeah.
they're still teaching. I get that piece too, because I don't know if I'd wanna teach AP and then be the person.
Right.
But at least it's a way to get our foot in the door,
Right.
and then maybe next year it becomes a full-time position.
Well,
I'm
this
just
is-
trying to look at a way
No,
to.
that's good.
Right.
I know,
and
it's
this-
only a month and a half away,
It's not like, I don't want it to be a lose-lose.
Right,
Right.
this is why it's our challenge now, we have to look at all the options and see what's available and what's out there, and if we can get creative, to start feeding this thing in.
I kind of look at all of our coaching positions at the younger schools, where we've got 2 in each school right now, and that started with none.
Right.
So these are all positions that were slowly and quietly and with then
Incorporated.
sometimes
We'll-
loudly created,
we'll
and
get
they
there.
got done.
And it did take some time.
Yeah, it
to-
takes
well,
years,
It took
but-
5 years to get
Right.
that fully established.
And-
However, if you come at this from a budget perspective where 2 departments IT and the school department are
Take a
recommending.
piece of it, right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, I was,
Well,
we could take it in a budget development,
take
but
a
at least they
piece.
recommend
Yeah.
it.
yeah, but, you know, and
I don't want to speak for
No,
Mr. Quimby's
well,
budget.
I can bring it forward to the town manager too, I've already kind of brought her up to speed on it, so she's aware of it.
Mhm.
And, no, I've had no problem fighting for it, you know, my point of view is more at district level,
right,
but, I know it's definitely needed in the high school, there's a, you know, high school needs are a lot different than
Right, the
elementary.
other
so, and we recognize that, so I mean, it's.
And it may be a building block. It's
Right.
similar to the
I was also
academic
thinking about
coaches.
using the person on the
You
town
start
side,
with
too.
one.
Yeah,
I get it.
we get the whole picture, it's just, now we have to figure it out.
Cool.
And we'll do it.
One of the things I also just wanted to mention is I was looking at the 21st century skill set, the students who are here, and we still have at least one student who's here. Thank you for staying. That a lot of that is being accomplished in this coursework.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the ability to work as a team, leadership, problem solving,
Yeah.
communication skills, definitely at least verbal communication skills, and
Interpersonal?
interpersonal and flexibility and adaptability, having at least taught swim lessons to that young age. If you're not flexible and adaptable, it's not going to work.
No.
Right.
So our students are learning those skills, and so I want to thank you for that.
And they're also using technology all the time. She sent home also an electronic newsletter to us every week with what they were learning in class, which is fantastic, because what a 4-year-old tells you when they get home sometimes does, and then we'd be like, oh my God, you did all these things? They, oh yeah.
It doesn't change whether they're 13 or 11.
Yeah,
How was school today? Good.
yeah, and then they go off, yeah.
Can I just make one more comment really quickly? I'm sorry. My only concern is that we do have such a short amount of time before September, and it just feels to me like there was no transparency in this situation. We were told one thing, and it seems like there was another agenda happening on that end. And students, I know, need to know, like, that they can get into the class. There was, like somebody mentioned, there was a huge wait list last year for the class. And I know there's a lot of high school students that want to take the class, so the comment was made that there is no interest and there's no students being, but that's not true. There is a lot of students that want to take it, but they're kind of being roadblocked right now, so I think there just has to be more everybody working together and allowing it to blossom, because it could be a much bigger program.
We are aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I think this discussion today helped.
Yeah, helps.
Yeah,
We have
it definitely.
many different
Thank you.
constituents presenting, which is very helpful.
thank you very much.
Excellent.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Have a nice summer.
Thank you. All right, so we have a few.
Feels like it's almost over.
I know.
Quiet.
All right, so we just have a few more agenda items on in our meeting here today. So we have 5.2.1.
Okay, in your packets, this is a gift from Maple Shade Elementary, a request to accept a $50 check from Diane Tiago, a memorial gift in honor of Lenny Mercieri. Yes, it was very nice.
I move to accept the memorial gift from Diane Tiago on behalf of Lenny Mercieri for $50.
Okay, motion's made.
Second.
Greg seconded. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. And that carries forward 4-0.
Okay, and the next one is also from Maple Shade, and it's an $825 amount for the music night, the elementary music night, which will go into their gift account.
So I know we talked about, if I may,
That's fine.
I know we talked about this last time, but why are we doing it as a gift, and who's gifting it? I mean, is it a technicality for the accounting?
it's auditing.
Yes,
It's
yes,
auditing
because
it.
the auditor, the
Okay.
outside auditors are the ones that said this money had to go into the gift account.
We
So
used
it's
to put in
basically
student
ticket money?
activity accounts.
Yeah.
Yes, it's ticket money.
It's
And
the
now
ticket.
they're saying that it has to be in a gift account.
So, but in calling it a gift, can we actually tell people that they have to pay at the door every time, technically speaking? Or is it, are
But it's
the
right here.
$4 a gift, right, and so are we
Basically,
mandated
it's
to?
a donation, yeah.
But it's not
Okay.
called
I don't know, I mean, it's just weird that we have to do
I-
it this way, but I trust
couldn't
you.
agree more with
Okay.
you, but it
If
is
it's
from the
auditing.
outside
Okay.
auditors.
All right, I'll move
All right,
To
so
to,
get
the
more
motion-
information on it, I will for you when they come.
It's just curiosity more than
Yeah.
anything, because it's already in district, it just seems kind of that way.
Right.
But that's fine, okay.
All right, so we need a motion on that.
I'll move
please.
to accept a gift, monetary gift to Maple Shade from the elementary music night for $825.
Okay, motion's made
Second.
and seconded by Beth. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Okay, hearing none, that carries forward 4-0. Okay, we have one more, 5.2.3.
Yes, and the last gift is for Meadowbrook School, and it's $855, again, from the elementary music night ticket sales.
And is the calculation of the donation based on the population of this, the number of students at each school? Is that how you come up with different numbers for each school?
It's for, yes, I guess that's exactly what it is, Greg. I mean, these come to me, so,
I know.
From who?
from the principal.
Principals.
Yeah.
Because what was Mountain View's? Was it
Mountain-
825
Yeah,
or
it was
845?
very
825.
close.
They were close,
825,
yeah.
so it must be.
I don't know, just
yeah.
curious. That's fine.
All right,
Do we
so-
move it already?
No, we need a
I'll
motion.
move that we accept the monetary gift to Meadowbrook for the elementary music night for $855.
Okay, motion made.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Oh,
Oh, that's a second.
No problem.
Funds deposited, thank you.
And any further discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. And that carries forward 4-0. And as we move down the list, we can just thank our LCAT person for coming out this morning for us. And with that, I'll just have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And second, all right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Oh, hearing none, it's 4-0, and we are done. Thank you.
Yay.